thank you for clicking through my video. I really hope that you learn a lot by the end of this video and that you purchase your own multifamily property, because it is not that difficult, okay? I know that if I did it, you can do it too. And I also wish that I would have known this when I was 18, because it's very simple. Now, I do not want to tell you you're going to be a millionaire overnight, or those get rich type of scams or schemes or commercials that you see. This is not like that. I'm a real person, and I currently own a multifamily property which is giving me income. But I'm just 30 years old. I purchased my first multifamily property when I was 29, and I know that what I did to make it happen was so easy that you can do it too. It's so simple. Now, if you live in the United States, this is for you. If you live in another country, the requirements might be a little bit different, but please keep watching. Before I go into the requirements, I do want to tell you a little bit about me. Just because I want you to know that what I'm telling you is real, and I didn't just search it and then just giving you all this information. So like I said, I'm 30 years old, and I was working at the bank for 3 years. I was a pretty much a personal banker, and I seen all these businesses, how they make money, which businesses are profitable, which ones are not, what do people do to get rich, things like that. People that are not making that much money live paycheck to paycheck, and then you'll see all kinds of people, like people that are making a lot of money. But let me tell you something, I didn't learn this from my customers. I learned this from my dad and my mom, but my mom and my dad did not tell me how to do this. I know that my family has been in this industry for years, but they never sit down with me and said, oh, so you want to make money, this is how you make money. I always wanted to make money. All right, so nobody's going to tell you, not even your parents, but the way I learned what is required to get a home or a multifamily property is because I was working in the bank. I was, I wanted to become a mortgage banker, because it's so interesting, of helping people buy their first home. Real estate is just something that has always interested me. All right, so I'm gonna go into the requirements. So the first requirement is that you need 2 years of W-2 and tax returns. Now, if you're not a W-2 employee and you're a 1099, I believe it's like 3 years of you filing for your 1099 or 3 years of your tax return. It doesn't have to be the best income, and I'm going to tell you why on the second step, on the second requirement. Okay, so the second requirement is 2 years of work history. Now, these 2 years of work history, it does not have to be at the same job. It just kind of has to be related. So let's just say that you were working customer service for 1 year at one job, and then you didn't like it, and then you switched over to a better paying job, but it was somewhat customer service related. As long as it's in the same industry, the bank will consider it, or the hard money lender, they will consider it. Okay, so that is good. Another thing that I want to mention about the second requirement with work history and in terms of income is that you don't have to be making all this crazy money. So like if you're working in, like, let's just say the mall, or a job that's not paying you that much because you're barely like 20 years old or 18 and you're not making so much money, let me tell you something. In multifamily properties, it's actually a lot easier to qualify than a one house property, because you take the banks will take in consideration the rents of the um, the houses that you're going to be renting out. So let's just say that you like a multifamily property with 3 homes. So the bank will consider that you're going to be receiving the middle, the rent for the middle house, and let's say the back house, and you're going to be living in the front house. So they're going to count that as income. So like if you're only making like $1,000 a month working at a, let's just say, fast food restaurant or in the mall or something like that, and then but they're gonna be counting that rental income as income. So they'll qualify you for a bigger amount, okay, than what you would normally qualify. Okay, so that's what happened in my case. So I qualified for a lot more than I would have. Okay, so that's not that difficult. Okay, so the third thing would be you need a down payment. Of course, you need a down payment. Now, usually it's 3.5%. So if you save, um, you should be fine with like maybe 5 or maybe 10,000, depending on the price of the property. But usually, it sometimes the banks, especially if it's your first mortgage, and if it's an FHA loan, they will consider doing 0% financing. So don't worry too much about that. Like I said, just go through one of the motions. As long as you go one at a time, can I get closer to that goal, and you're gonna make it happen. Okay. Now with hard money lenders, it's a little bit different. They don't require a 3.5%. They require a 20%. So when they're talking about hard money lending, they're not gonna finance the whole thing. They want to make sure that the risk is small. So they're not going to risk giving you like $500,000 for you to put nothing. For hard money lenders, they expect you to put at least 20%. That's a lot of money. So that's why I always like going with a regular bank. And please do not be scared of banks. They're not that scary. I used to think they were scary. Like I would never go to a personal banker, sit down and say, how do I save? How do I build my credit? What credit cards do you have for me? I never did that. And you have to know that personal bankers are there to help you. They're like personal trainers. They're there to give you advice. Okay? So just know that if you ask them, how do I qualify for a regular mortgage? How do I qualify for a multifamily mortgage? They're there to answer your questions or refer you to the mortgage specialist that will give you those answers. It's not rocket science. I don't know why I was so scared. But anywho, yes. Okay. And the full requirement, and it's probably going to be the most difficult for most people, is your credit has to be at least a 620. Some banks online that I saw, and no, they're not scams. There's this bank, I'm not sure what the name is called, but I remember that they lend you even if you have a 580. You just have to put a little bit of more down payment. Don't worry about your credit because your credit is fixable. I remember I had like a 5, it was pretty bad. It was like a 540, and I was able to bring it to a 670. So do not fear. As I mentioned before, just keep going through the motions. You'll get there eventually. Okay? So that's the fourth requirement, as I mentioned, having the credit. And it's that simple because usually hard money lenders also check your credit. Okay? If you are able to do this and go through these 4 things, believe me, it's not going to be difficult. I wish I knew this. I didn't know this until I started working at the bank. Okay? When I started working at the bank, that's when they sat down with me and they told me these are the requirements. So if anybody asks about buying a house, these are the requirements. And I was like, what? These requirements were so easy. So there you have it. Alright guys, well thank you for watching. I hope that you really enjoyed my video, and make sure to subscribe and like.